In today's Necron video, we are going to compare Trazyn the Infinite versus Orikan the Diviner. It's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today we are going to continue our series of comparing Necron HQs, and today it's Trazyn versus Orikan in what I hope will be a fun and informative video. Is it about like that? Or like that? Hard to say. Stick to the usual, Nick. Stick to the usual. So let's get straight on with it. Trazyn versus Orikan. First of all, the points cost. Trazyn has recently come down to 90 points in the last chapter approved, and Orikan is 115, making Trazyn a little bit cheaper and earning his first point. Orikan the Diviner is weapon skill and ballistic skill 3. He's strength and toughness 4 with 5 wounds. He has 2 attacks with a 4+ save. However, Trazyn the Infinite is ballistic skill and weapon skill 2. He's strength and toughness 5. He has 6 wounds with 3 attacks and a 3+ save, earning him a point in this category. Oh, and by the way, if you want to keep up to date with the Wonders of Warhammer 40k, then do this. Subscribe and hit the bell button to turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Both of these Necron HQs are named characters, Trazyn from the Nihilic Dynasty and Orikan from the Sotek Dynasty. It's hard to allocate points in this particular category. However, looking at the Dynasty Warlord traits, the Nihilic Dynasty allowing your character to fight first in close combat, compared to the Sotek Dynasty allowing you to regain command points, I've got to give this point to Orikan. Oh, and subscribers, make sure you keep watching because I've got a brand new category coming up. Right, next up we're going to have a look at weapons. Trazyn is holding an Empathic Obliterator. That's a melee weapon at strength 7, -1, doing D3 damage. Now, if you slain a character with this weapon in close combat, each enemy unit within 6 inches takes D3 mortal wounds. It sounds really good, however it is very circumstantial, and compared to his brother the Overlord's weapon, which has -4 and does a fixed 2 damage, you have to say this weapon isn't that great. Orikan is holding a Staff of Tomorrow. That's strength 4, -3 AP and does D3 damage. Plus, he can re-roll the fouled hit rolls when attacking. He has 1 less attack, and of course it's only strength 4. However, the re-rolls are quite useful. The thing about Trazyn's weapon, even though it does mortal wounds, I think almost you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Hey, I've got a character that does mortal wounds, but to get those mortal wounds, you've got to get him in close combat with an enemy character. I think overall, Orikan's weapon is slightly better, and he has a little trick up his sleeve to make his weapon even worse. Even worse. Plus, he has a little trick up his sleeve, which we're going to talk about in the next section. For now though, that's a point for Orikan. Okay, so on to abilities, and Orikan has the Stars Are Right. You roll a dice at the start of each of your turn, and if you roll less than the turn it is, Orikan becomes empowered, taking his stat line to weapon skill and ballistic skill 2, to strength and toughness 7, 7 wounds and 4 attacks. This stat line lasts until the end of the game, however you do have to keep any wounds you've taken beforehand. Now bear in mind that it can be quite difficult to get Orikan to actually empower. On the old days he used to empower automatically on turn 4. Now that's not the case. Of course he can't empower on turn 1, and on turn 2 you're going to be empowering him on a roll of a 1. So you're looking at probably empowering him on around turn 4 or possibly even 5, depending on how you roll. He doesn't automatically come out until turn 7 if you roll really badly. So bear in mind, you could play the whole game and he doesn't empower. However, if he does empower, that is definitely worth a point to Orikan. Both characters have living metal, allowing them to regain a wound that they've lost previously at the beginning of each Necron turn. Both have it, so no points change. Trazyn has a phase shifter, giving him a 4+ invulnerable save. Orikan has a chronomancer, giving him a 5+ invulnerable save. That gives the point to Trazyn. However, Orikan is a master chronomancer. That gives him the ability to give any Sotek infantry units a 5+ invulnerable save within 6 inches of him. Now that is double the range of a Cryptic's ability and also works in close combat, definitely giving him a point for that ability. Not only that, but he's also a Technomancer, giving Sotek units within 3 inches of Orikan +1 to their RP, and that is another point for Orikan. However, Trazyn has My Will Be Done, allowing him to give a Nihilic infantry unit +1 to advance rolls, +1 to assault charge rolls, and +1 to hits, earning a point for Trazyn. Trazyn is also a surrogate host, meaning that if he dies, you roll a dice and on a 2+, he has a chance of coming back. I'll be back. If you have another Necron infantry character on the table that's not a named character, then you can replace that model with Trazyn when he dies. It's a big sacrifice and he only comes back up with D3 wounds. You're going to be putting points into that character to keep him alive. However, it could be good if you need to stop Slay the Warlord. Of course, if you roll a 1 or there's no other infantry Necron characters on the table, then he dies as normal. I suppose if you're taking a battalion with a few disposable lords in the army, it could be useful. So I am going to give Trazyn a point for this ability. Right, onto my new category, the fun factor. There's no doubt that Orikan's ability to be empowered to become a mini Star Guard, allowing you to potentially put a Star Guard model in his place when he becomes empowered. It has to have the fun factor and it has to earn him another point. So Orikan wins by 1 point. His 5+ aura ability, longer range than a Cryptic and also works in close combat. He has a better weapon and stat line than a Cryptic. He also has the ability to be empowered. And he's only 20 points more than a Cryptic. If you play Cryptics and you play in the Sotek Dynasty, then Orikan is definitely worth considering. Now Trazyn is basically an overlord with an extra wound and a slightly different weapon. He has the ability to dish out mortal wounds, but only in the right circumstances. Now Trazyn has the ability to stay alive by replacing another character. I'm not sure that I would want to do this, even if I didn't want to give up Slay the Warlord. Surely there's a better way to stop Slay the Warlord using tactics other than sacrificing a whole character. He's only a few points cheaper than an Overlord, and he's locked in the Nihilic Dynasty. However, if you like to play named characters, he is the cheapest named character in the Codex. So let me know what you think. God, for God's sake, now there's children playing. Can't really moan at children though, can I? So let me know what you think in the comments box below, and if you're not subscribed yet, start now, hit the Edic Beer icon. And if you want to see my best Necron HQ playlist, then check out that video just there. Beam me up.